Welcome to yet another episode of Jewellery Pod. This is very different, very unique. Today we have someone very dynamic. She's wearing many hats. She's not known by what she got, she's known by what she built. Today we are having a word with Dr. Sana Sajan, who is an artist, mother, philanthropist, amazing woman who is known for various things. Welcome, Dr. Sana Sajan.
Thank you so much. Whenever someone gives that introduction, I get really shy.
You do. You have earned that identity, and we all love you for that. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
We want to cover many topics about you, one at a time. And I would love to start with this thing that you are an artist as well as an amazing businesswoman. How do you balance these two worlds?
So it's a thought that always runs in my head whenever I self-reflect as well. And a lot of people ask the same thing, that how do you do it all? My answer is simple. We women are capable of multitasking and we do it well.
So this is something that you have achieved over the time, and you told in your TEDx as well that you were married in a very affluent family, and literally people said this thing loud without giving second thought that it's not required for you to do this. However, you are like director for Danube today. You have your own art project going on, fabulous. When you decided that it's time to take that leap and not known by the labels?
Okay, so that's something I have always been as a person. I think it goes to my DNA. When I was really, really young, I was in school. I still remember maybe in grade 4 or 5, I used to have a lot of thoughts and aspirations even then, and literally world-changing ideas and thoughts. And I knew that I'm really tiny at that time. So I used to ask my Abba Jani, who's my grandfather, and I used to ask him that, Abba Jani, why do I think like this? And why don't other people think like this? And when can I be able to do these things? So he used to tell me, Sana, because you were not born a cow or a buffalo. And that answer, it resonates in my head. Like till date, it's there as an echo all the time. And I was not born a cow or a buffalo. I was born a human being, and I want to live to the best of it. And when you say that, when did I plan to think of implementing a change of not being able to known as a label, it has always been there. When again I was young, and there was one big scientist who had come as a guest at our home, and they were all asking us brothers and sisters that, what do you want to become when you're older? So my first thing, for sure, because of following what my father was, he was an amazing doctor. I wanted to be a doctor, but I also told him I also want to do an MBA, and I also want to do business, and I want to also become an artist. So he just laughed at me, and he thought, okay, this is one of those girls who just doesn't know where she's going. And he laughed at me and he told me, Beta, you can't just choose so many things. You have to choose one direction. In my head, I still remember his face, in what direction I was looking at him at my small height. And I looked up at him, and in my head then, I thought, I don't think he understands what I want to say. And maybe I have to be an older person. With time, I will be proving it. Imagine at that time, I thought in my head that only time will prove it. And as time moved on and my bucket list was always there, I finished becoming a doctor. I finished an MBA in healthcare services. While all of this happened, I got married into the Sajan family, which is definitely one of the most astute families of business here in the region. And I'm really, really blessed to be a part of that, because men and women in the family, they're all very empowering and very loving, with the best of values, really. So if I was married into the family, again, as you say, I could have been very comfortable, yes, and I am very comfortable. And I took the decision of launching my own business of American aesthetics, which is an umbrella of plastic surgery under one roof. I took that decision because I have always been a person who's been working, and I cannot just sit. And after I had my first child, I was still involved in Danube Welfare Center. I was not doing anything, but there was something still, dwindling inside, and it wanted to come out and launch. And that thought, I just did not want to put it aside.
That's doing phenomenal, and I'm glad that you took. It's a new direction for the group as well. I would say,
Yeah, that's
entering
correct.
into healthcare, and
Yes.
that's amazing.
So Dad was also very happy in that, he was like, okay, we will have another vertical.
Yeah.
Now that you are coming, you're expanding the horizons.
Amazing. And as you spoke a lot about family and you're very close to them, talking about your childhood, you also said once that you were raised in a traditional family, definitely doctors. But when we talk about Indian families or Desi families as a broader level, we are often told not to, cross the boundaries, be in the limits. What is one learning that you want to completely, remove from your mindset, and you make sure that kind of learning never goes to your children?
Good question. Very thought provocative. How I would say here, see, we are a combination of what we inherit as knowledge and also the choices that we make. What we inherit is definitely the information we get down from our parents and their ancestors in our knowledge, which has been really put into our DNA. But and after that, also when we are being brought up with whoever, it could be your parents or it could be your teachers, it is in the early years of our life, the bringing up, what you say. But after a certain point, it is also your choices. And these three things, when combined together, is what makes us as a person. So for my children, when it comes to that, definitely I've already done the part of giving them the DNA. And yes, the work in progress is to give them the right values in terms of theory and practical, because whatever I can say with word is one, but also what I practice is the more important part, because they just learn, from your actions. The last part will be a result of the first two, which I have given them as a DNA and also my values that I am putting into them. After that, once they are old enough, they will be able to make their choices. And that's what you will form them as individuals throughout their life. So it's very simple, very basic. And that's what applies to me and them and everyone else.
Going deeper, what I wanted to understand was that at some point of our life, we do realize, this kind of upbringing would have been amazing for me. If I would have got the chance, it would have been amazing for me. Or maybe if I would have not been so much, people pleaser, this would have been amazing for me. That moment in your life when you realize, I wish.
Two answers to this. First of all, I love being a people pleaser. I think that's my superpower. One of the reasons to that is, yes, we all have those things when our parents somehow inevitably make us people pleasers. But why is it bad? I just want to ask, why is it wrong to be a people pleaser? As long as you are not breaking yourself, bending backwards, if you're flexible, it's good enough. If it is working good for both ends of the parties, it is great. As long as you're not breaking yourself pleasing other people and you're really making yourself drained of all your good energy, as long as you're not harming yourself, I think there's no harm in pleasing other people and yourself. It's just, for me, for example, as a person, I like to make other people happy because that gives me happiness, for real. So I do not discourage people. Honestly, I do not discourage people to be a people pleaser or anybody pleaser for that matter. But I do remind, it comes with a clause that don't do it at an expense of your happiness.
Exactly. This is what I was trying to understand and wanted to speak, that when you are at a certain position, you hold some power. People do try to bring you down by, taking advantage of your position, probably, maybe advantage. They feel that it's your obligation to maybe help them financially or, monetarily. And that's a time when we are in like two thoughts that was it a bad idea to be nice to them? This thing has come back to me like a wrecking ball so many times.
Do you feel yourself, you have to reflect on yourself. I'm being a shrink here for you. Do you feel bad about doing the good deed to them? You still feel happy about it, but you're just self-reflecting.
Undue advantage is the right answer.
That you've been exploited maybe, or you've been taken. So see, this world is not a very, very easy place. So those things will keep coming in. All right. How you deal with it and how your emotions are reflecting onto it, it just comes with time, experience, and maturity. That's one shrink answer. The other one, it comes if I apply to myself. If I have done a good deed to anyone, it's great. If I've thought something good, as they say, that's also giving me a lot of sawab or, good deeds in my good books with Allah. But if it comes back again that the other person comes and exploits me, as I say, with time and experience, it comes to your way of handling people, The more experience you get, the more you fall, the more you have been exploited or you feel like you've been exploited, the more you learn how to deal with it, internally and externally.
Right.
So you learn how to deal with your emotions, and also you learn how to draw certain lines with certain people without hurting them or yourself. I always live by the thought of assertive life. Assertive communication is the key for everything. And what is assertiveness? Assertiveness means where you take your right without harming the right of the other person.
Amazing.
So that's, if you keep that as a mantra in life, you will be safer than what you expect.
That's a beautiful mindset, Sana. And talking about mindset and tough place, when you shuffle between two roles as a family and as a businesswoman, so the board of directors is mostly your family, and I do understand that when you are at a workplace, there's different mindset. How do you handle the disagreement sometimes, or it's just a decision that you want to take is not very favorable for all the others? How exactly it goes in a family setup like?
Good. This is a very good question for other people who do have family set up at larger or equal or smaller scale than our company. We as a family, we are one very, very closely knit, and we respect each other a lot. And the most important and the biggest strength that we have the right values. And professionalism also is a part of our values. So, and there is a certain hierarchy which can be followed in a family business and a non-family business as well, when there is somebody sitting on a higher rank and position with all the experience and input of their hard work. And then there are other people who are in different ranks. I believe it was always beneficial to respect the hierarchy in first place. And it is not necessary to have the hierarchy in specifically, possibly age-wise or just experience-wise. It could be for any reason the hierarchy is there. And if it is there for a reason. And if you respect it, things get to fall into place for the right way. How do we handle disagreements? In general, if we have a certain proposal and we speak to individual of the team or the family here, and we see what are their opinions on it, to be honest, we are all very open with communication. And most of the times we're on the same page. If we are not, we discuss what are the pros and cons. And either we convince the other person or we get convinced. And if we don't, we understand, and we give the right reasons or we get the right reasons, and we consider it that this is the right thing to do. So the key is right communication amongst the family. And we make sure, and especially I am always learning from my family, including my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and even though she's not in the business, but she's a very important, really, really big pillar in our family. Such a sweetheart, she brings all the love. And my husband, they are amazing communicators, be it anything, So when you communicate well, things get easier to solve.
Amazing. And as a generational thing, do you guys feel that, no, they are coming from different generation, though Mr. Rizwan Sajan is all over the internet and we love him for all the good reasons. So how do you, as kids of this era, how do you take this thing?
Yes, good question. If I compare it with any other family, to be honest, we are a very different family in that aspect. Rizwan Sajan, he is the chairman and the founder of the group, Daddy, and but he's also the youngest and the most agile person. You will be surprised, really. And we live together. My Adil's grandmother, who is my great mother-in-law, how do you call it? And my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, we all live together, right? So the thing is, he himself is very evolutionary, very, very agile, and very ahead of the curve. So, and mom, at the same time, when they are a couple, they kind of keep pace together. And Adil and I, of course, as you say, we are from this generation. So I think both of us as couples, two couples, we are on a very similar wavelength. We are friends in terms of fun and in terms of business discussions as well. So when we are talking business, we talk as equals. And sometimes where it is needed, the chairman takes the input from us if we have a different point of view, and on the other side we take from his point of view what is it. So trust me, we four of us, we're very, very close as friends, and we do not feel there is a huge generation gap. And it could be dad being so young and agile and so ahead of everything, and that's why he is what he is.
Yeah.
And on the other side, Adil and I would speak more of Adil, that he is way, way, way more mature than anyone of his age, not in terms of just sobriety or just being very, very simple in his mindset, but he started working when he was 13, and then at 18 he launched the work, and so he is very experientially ahead of people of his age. So that gap is bridged. But coming to your question, if people do face a generational gap, I think it is again about conversation and also about respect. So the seniors can respect the juniors, and juniors can respect the seniors, and get the best out of both worlds.
Thank you for walking us through inside of your home. Talking about home, we have been to your amazing, beautiful home several times. We have had suhoors together. Eid is a wonderful time. We look forward to visit your place. You guys have launched innumerable projects in real estate. Don't you think it's time to venture in hospitality as well?
We are into hospitality. There is our division called Danube Hospitality Division, where we are supplying to hotels. And I think 80% of the hotels in Dubai have our material in there from the Danube Hospitality Division.
How about having your own luxury hotel chains?
Well, you never say never. You never know, it might come up.
Because that's something we look up to, because you guys are amazing hosts. You guys don't let anyone go without speaking to them one-on-one. And that's a rare quality I have found in people across the world. And kudos to you guys for doing that. We just love visiting. We look forward to visiting your place.
Thank you so much.
So now, when you spend for yourself, like I'm talking about jewelry specific, we know that you have a very classic style.
So I classify, if I have to buy something, now there is, alhamdulillah, I'm blessed. I have enough collection, and I've always loved jewelry. Not just as a girl, but as a person, really, I have always been in love with jewelry. I still remember my mom telling me the stories when I was really like a toddler, and I used to run around asking my mom just to put a little string of thread in my neck just to make it like a necklace, So I've always loved it, and my grandparents then also used to always gift me because that was my favorite thing. So I have a good collection, and jewelry for us as Indians, it could be into two parts. One is all gold jewelry, and one is gold traditional jewelry, I would say.
Yeah.
And there is also diamond traditional and diamond modern. So it depends what is my need and requirement at that moment. If it is something I'm looking for, right now I have a lot of heavy gold jewelry which is not being used a lot, to be honest, and it's just sitting there, and I keep giving zakat on it. On the other side, diamonds also, the bigger necklaces, I have good enough collections, and whenever I have had a need or I have liked a certain design, either I approach that jeweler, or I speak to my private jewelers and I get that made, because I trust their quality and I know that I've had relations with them. But nowadays, for sure, because life is faster, you want easier, faster, modern jewelry. And by that, I mean, if I need a piece of a certain amount of carat just as a solitaire in my ears, I will speak to my private jewelers and I will tell them, this is the shape or size what I'm looking for. And then they come to me with their options which are available, because certain sizes of diamonds are not very easily available. So yeah, that's what I do.
So are you a collector of rare diamonds? Don't shy.
Well, I like good jewelry.
Yeah,
I could say that.
And does your jewelry buying decisions are still governed by the family? Because that's very family thing. Buying jewelry is a fun fair for
No.
the family.
See,
So
family, we like as women, we like to talk about
Yeah.
it. Like it's just me and my mother-in-law here, and my mom and my sisters. Yes, whenever I've gotten it, and I just share it with them. This is what I got, and it's exciting. So same for my mother-in-law. Once I've got it, I show it like this is my new thing. It's like a typical girly thing. But otherwise, just if I have my own stash which I have collected or earned, I put that, and I think what do I want to put in as an investment, and I buy it. Otherwise, if it is a gift from my husband, it's another thing. Then I discuss with him, this is what I like, and then we talk about it. And then if it's feasible at that moment, we take it. And then I do my own thing with my husband to make him, okay, this is worth it at this moment. And that whole conversation with the men start that, oh, diamonds are not worth it, or are they worth it? That whole debate goes on. And in the end, you know who wins.
Coming back to boardroom, you also do meet high mindset and high net worth investors coming from all over the world to buy properties in Dubai. And meeting them and then meeting one-of-a-kind investors, what sort of mindset you observe which is worth sharing on this platform?
So the advantage with Danube Properties is we have a very wide diaspora coming in, and we have made sure that everyone can afford a home in Dubai. That's number one. But yes, as you say, there are different people who are different levels of investors.
They would surely not talk like someone who wants to buy just one apartment for themselves. So they do, the talks are on different levels.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking, that what kind of conversation goes with those people. A big business talking to another big business.
This is a very open-ended question. How do I tell you? If let's say, if I'm meeting, for example, Jeff Bezos, you mean, and what kind of conversation I would have?
You can say like,
or somebody who wants to come and buy a full floor. Or,
Probably.
for example, 2-3 floors of a building, for example. Is that what you're asking me? Because I'm not
you
clear.
can talk about the high investment mindset over here, that they see from the business perspective, they see from reinvestment perspective.
Oh, yeah.
You can talk about Dubai as an investment place.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know what is the
It's
question. So
completely
this is
fine.
good. So when it comes to people bringing in their wealth into Dubai, I think this is the best place in the world to be. And not just right now, but we can see there is already the D33 and the next D2040 and the 50 years plan already in place. So but that when you're bringing your dollar here or when you're bringing your money here, that it's going to be not just safe, but also it's going to multiply exponentially. And the best part about Dubai or UAE as a country is that when it's growing, it takes its people up with it and the people grow with it. And that's what has happened with Danube as Danube Properties. We have grown with Dubai, and we are really blessed to be in this country and to be a part of this whole dream coming to reality.
Right.
The leaders of this country, they have such amazing vision. It feels like, wow, these are impossible dreams, and they are really making it a reality in front of us. It gives you goosebumps. I'm talking and it gives me goosebumps. So we are really blessed that way, and everyone around the world thinks the same. And this is, the thought is cascading into all the nations, and we are right now the best place to be. And it is not just the high net worth individual, it is the ultra high net worth as well. They're bringing in their cash, their investments into the country, and they know that it's going to give them the best rewards.
What are the next plans for the group which you guys are working on? It is exciting. Not necessarily that you have to say word by word.
Yeah,
but
if I tell you, I'll have to kill you.
Small hints would be good.
No, we try to give back to the society however we can. Most of it we don't even talk about it, because see, when you give back to the society or do any kind of charities, it is not something to boast about or to just show off. So 90% of what our family does as individuals or as a group, we don't even talk about it. But yes, there is a little part which comes into the limelight. And one of the things which we are planning to do is create an educational institution, a full-fledged school where we can educate kids who cannot afford good education. So that's one of the things that is in the pipeline. And what we are looking at is creating a world-class education system where there will be people coming from different economic strata, and we will also have scholarships for people who cannot afford that the expenses of the education, and they will get the best out of not just the education but also from the society in that school. So that's one of the things that is in pipeline.
Amazing. Someone like us who always admire the group, we have like really high expectations from Danube, and this would be a very noble project to take care of. Sana, talking about you as an individual, you are at the pinnacle of your life, we can say, and but do you have your own set of fears and insecurities?
Fears, yes, because I'm human. Insecurities, if they come in, I deal with them. What kind of insecurities do I have? I really have to dig deep now. To be honest, at the moment where I stand, and I'm really digging deep when you say this, do I have any insecurities? As a person, I don't have any insecurities at the moment. And I would be lying if I, have to just create some insecurity just to have it on this discussion. As a business person, the challenges always come in. So that's a completely other aspect. But if I have to really put a thought to it, the challenges that I have in my head right now is not about me. It is about now my next generation. And it is about my kids. I hope I'll be able to make them good people, as good human beings with the right set of values in terms of personal values and professional values. So that's the challenge that I see now for myself, because if I look back upon my life, I'm happy with myself at the moment, and I'm very content. Yes, of course, I do have more aspirations for myself, but at the moment, more than myself, it is now more about my children and how I can make them better people than myself.
You're amazing, mother. But yeah, thanks for sharing that. In this place, in Dubai, majority of the growth depends on influx of the people, investment of the people. Operating such a big business, how do you hedge from the external factors that you cannot control?
Okay, so that's a very good question. First of all, we are in terms of numbers of sales and bottom line, it is looking good. And yes, this year in the beginning, we were the number one in the terms of the number of units sold, in Dubai. We are really blessed and proud to say that. But while having said that, yes, it is important to manage. And especially the most important thing is whenever you have any business, to know what is your exit strategy or what if something goes wrong. And our chairman, he has this vision always, and he has always been that person. Even I remember when we were launching my healthcare division, he just spoke to me what will be the investment and what will be the 5-year plan. And when we were doing the feasibility study, he said, okay, this is not something, honestly, this was a very small chunk. And he said, okay, even if we go wrong and we lose this money, it is not going to be a big blow on me. Coming to properties, which is the bigger chunk, the largest chunk, I would say at the moment, any project that we launch, we make sure that first of all, our sales of the previous project has been completed, and we know that our escrow account is safe. And if we are going to launch a project, we know that we have that money safe with us, that in case if anything goes wrong and the economy goes haywire, we know that we have the backup to, one, complete this project and make sure that it is delivered in time. Because at the end of the day, you need to step into the shoes of the investor, big or small. And any blow which comes, especially in the times of crisis, it is very difficult to take. And if you think about a person who's earning 20,000 dirhams a month and he's invested his life savings into it, every month he's collecting, and suddenly you just say that, oh, we've gone bankrupt. Those things you really have to keep in mind. And I'm really glad that our chairman has that vision, he has that thought process, and before we launch any project, we make sure that we are, very safe, and we have all the buffers also in place. And our finance and audit department, our managing director, they're all together on it, and they put in the right thought in the right direction. So yes, it is important to gauge that.
Sana, you're a big fan of the ruler of Dubai and you draw major of the inspiration from him. So as a hero, how he inspires, we know that why he inspires everyone, but you as a person.
So, what are the qualities? This podcast would be a year long if I start talking about His Highness.
For you as a person.
Yes, he is inspiring millions and millions of people for sure. And you and I, we are both fans of him. But yes, he is my biggest hero. He makes, not only just has a vision, but he has made it a reality within our lifetime and in a short period of time. And it is not just that it has come and it will go. He has created it as a sustainable vision which has been implemented. That's just to begin with. And one of my favorite quotes of him is, to take a risk and fail is not a failure. Real failure is to never to take a risk at all. And I'm a person of that thought process at a very smaller level as compared to him, because he is what he is. But he inspires people to take risk, to calculate what you can do in life and take the plunge. And because of his vision, Dubai is what it is today. And just anything that he says, it's just so inspiring. One of my favorite stories that he tells, in one of his speeches, it is very famous. He said once that in the land of Africa, the gazelle and the lion wake up on the same morning, but the gazelle has to make sure that she outruns the lion to be able to survive. On the other side, the lion has to make sure that he finds a gazelle and catches it, because he'll starve to death. And Sheikh Mohammed says that in the land of Dubai, UAE, no matter you're a gazelle or a lion, you wake up and you run, because you have to make the best out of everything. And, he's so inspiring. He makes sure that everyone's giving their best. And even when you've given your best last night, today you wake up again and have another dream and give it your best again.
Right.
You just don't slow down. You don't sleep. Away to glory on that.
We are in best place in the world.
Oh, we can't thank God enough.
One dream project that Sana Sajan is yet to do, and we are yet to witness that history.
Oh, it is the education project.
Yeah?
Yeah. It is something that came up 2-3 years ago. There was a headline in Gulf News. And the headline said that the country government is going to fine the parents who do not send their kids to school.
Oh.
This headline really was thought provocative for me, because I thought, which parents don't want to send their kids to school? Very, very few percentage of them who want to do homeschooling, which is very fair. But the other ones who are not able to send are the ones who cannot afford it. And considering the education fees going very high at the moment, and you're not able to give them, your kids, their right to education because you cannot afford. So for that is the reason we conceived the whole idea that let's create an educational institution where we can give them end-to-end high-class education. And that's my dream, to be able to, give everyone the education that they deserve. And, better than giving them just the fish, teach them how to fish.
Wishing you all the best with this project. Sana, talking about your art project, it's very close to your heart. And you have also, many of the celebrities own your piece of art. And there's a theory behind it which inspires all of us. You need to tell listeners of Jewellery Pod.
So, I've been an artist when I was very young as well. Like in grade 4, I remember I was doing portraits of my grandmother and aunt in sketch pencil and on a, easel. I think I inherited it from my mom, who's also an artist. And that always was there. But because we come from the Indian diaspora where they want you have to be a doctor or an engineer. Even today, the lines are expanding, but still, becoming a doctor is one thing. And coming from a family of 35 or now 36 doctors, becoming a doctor was just something that you've earned your respect. And while I did aspire to be a doctor, my art was always there. And people used to think and classify it as a hobby. And I was young, so I didn't know that I could actually really pursue a career over there. And while I explored life and got older, and I could see that this can be a career as well, while all of that happened, I was already in med school. And it just happened that people still used to think that, oh, what are you even talking about launching an art career, So I used to still do paintings then and just sell them to random uncles and aunties and get the money and give it to some poor person to be able to do their lab tests and stuff. And even then I was having a scholarship, so I used to take out money from the scholarship and help those poor people. But during this time I really thought that I just cannot wait to become a professional artist or launch my career as an artist. And to be a professional artist, it is not necessary to have a degree or a certain kind of label on yourself. I just wanted that. I thought that that is the moment and I should just do it. And that's what I did. I launched ALIF, which is Art Lovers International Festival, and I created, it was an exhibition, and single-handedly what I did, I created invites and created those graphic designs, everything on my own, and sent it out to people, followed up, and then made sure that the confirmations are done one day prior or on the day of the attendance. All of this was happening, and I'm so glad to say today that I was able to collect around $100,000 by auctioning those paintings. And that money, all of it went for the awareness and treatment of thalassemia patients in the region. And I just feel proud, and I'm happy that I did it when I did it, what I did. So that's how it all started officially. And today it happens so that I still create auctions and I still sell the paintings, and 100% of that money goes for special needs children and also for the awareness of thalassemia. So it's a mix, and it feels nice when you look back.
You're very kind. You're very kind. Sana, when we all know you have openly and candidly shared your story without keeping any curtains to your story. So we know about how you came all the way here, and but still you have to deal with a set of criticism and judgment, which is I think everyone goes through that stage. But what's your personal take on all these things when people just easily say, oh, you've got the platform, oh, you've got the money, oh, it's easier for you, oh, if you're doing a noble cause, put down the camera. They don't even think twice before putting those negative comments. And how do you deal with this?
So, see, if I'm going on Instagram and posting my things, it's for me. And when other people look at it, it's a byproduct, and I enjoy it as long as I'm getting the praise like any other human being. But as you say, there are sometimes negative comments on it, or sometimes people will not say it, but it will be in their heart and they will go and talk about in their gossip groups. So there are two approaches to it. Whenever you have any negative comment in general in your life as well, one, I always look at it first as a constructive criticism, if there is something that I can gain out of it. And then I look at it, if it is going to negatively impact me or I'm not going to gain anything out of it, I don't really give it a lot of thought. To be honest, that's my simple approach to it.
You don't let it consume your mind space.
No. Man, I've been almost 100 kilos and I've gone on the stage without my hair getting done by a hairdresser. I am that person who will not take negative judgments negatively onto myself. No, I cannot. I'm not designed like that. If there is something negative given to me, negative as per the best practices, how it looks negative. Sometimes some certain things are not negative. Maybe they do mean something. You understand? So from that, you get the best out of it. But on the other side, if it is just something somebody's just venting out somewhere sitting in Jalandhar, I don't really care, that person is just sitting and venting out his own or her own frustration. Or it happens, you got to see where that person's coming from. So that happens. Now I'm pretty equipped on dealing with those things, and it happens in a very fast pace in my mind. But most of the times I do try to take the best out of it.
I love your positive attitude. Sana, one motto which keeps on, which pushes you to do best, and it could also be a message to all the listeners of the Jewellery Pod.
I believe living in the moment is the most important thing. And by living in the moment is wherever you are, you give your best. And while you walk through your life and you look back, you see that you achieved the best. the best, at least from your perspective. And what matters is that you are happy with what you have achieved.
Thank you for sharing all this with us, Sana, today. And I have also planned one small, quick Q&A with you.
Sure.
One secret of Sana Sajan that no one knows about. It's not yet out in public.
Okay. I like to sing. I'm not a
Okay.
great singer, but I like to sing. That's one of the things which not a lot of people know about.
So more like a bathroom singer. You can give it a try, right?
I mean, you never know. As I say never.
Yeah.
So that's something that not a lot of people know about. And maybe I will find one day my voice.
We would like to be invited that day.
I hope so.
We'll cheer you loudest.
Yes.
So now I want to know from you, like you have to. It's more like coffee with Karan, but in Dubai. Okay. So your favorite business lunch spot?
My favorite business lunch spot, it is usually in the office with my family. But what if I have to choose one? It's Kareen in Emirates Hills Golf Club.
Great. And one jewelry brand from UAE you just love.
Jewelry brand from UAE. I like the Jewellery jewelers. They have really good quality and they have my trust and they make sure that they get the best pieces from around the world.
Your go-to holiday destination?
Maldives.
One celeb you look up to. You love their style.
I really like Priyanka Chopra. She's a very complete celebrity and she's doing it very well.
She
whatever
gave
she's
many
doing.
reasons to love.
Yes.
Your favorite novel?
It's Fountainhead by Ayn Rand.
Why?
It's a fiction, but it's about people who break through and make it. It's about having your head in place, and it's about people with grey matter, which is not very easy to find in this world.
Stuff that's still due on your bucket list.
Oh, my bucket list is always evolving. What is it that I need to do? It's something I've never told anyone, but I want to be a self-made billionaire.
Congratulations.
That's the bigger thing. In smaller things, I want to be a master in Shaolin Kung Fu.
Wow.
Yeah,
That would
I'm
be
working
amazing.
on it.
Love your aspirations. Another quick one. Cardio or Pilates?
Oh, none of them. I prefer strength training.
Minimalism or maximalist?
It depends on the moment. Sometimes I'm a minimalist, sometimes I'm a maximalist.
Water or any energy drink?
Water.
Fiction novel or self-help book?
I'm very done with fiction, and self-help books are something that I can now write. So I'm more about geopolitics and learning about the world economics now.
Sports car or vintage car?
I used to be sports car, but now I'm going towards vintage.
Splurging or investing?
Investing.
Thank you, Sana. You have been amazing speaker. Thank you for joining us today on Jewelry Pod.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.